Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be diving in the nitty-gritty of buying a high mileage vehicle. I was going to record at this spot up on the mountains a little bit, but when I got to the parking lot it was packed with people, and the crazy thing is it snowed like 2 days ago, and I know the snow is trails, but people in Utah are just built different and they'll go hiking no matter the weather. So I'm just gonna go back home and record this in the front yard in our little garage port area to hopefully give you some tips if you are thinking about buying a high mileage vehicle, which is pretty much 100,000 miles and above. Because a couple of videos ago I posted that I bought a 2016 Tundra with 118,000 miles, and as of right now it is at 1,000, and as it sits right now it has 119,116 miles. Since I bought it, I was like, it's a Toyota, and thinking that it's a Toyota and it's also a Tundra with the 5.7 liter engine that has reached 1 million miles multiple times, everything should be fine, right? Well, not really. So let me go back home and tell you guys what I have encountered so far. I just want to say this out of the box, it's a 2016, right? So it's not going to be perfect. There's some scratches, there's dings, there's little tears, but that's given, especially if a person actually used this truck. And just to give you guys a quick history of the vehicle, it was a California car its whole life until about a year ago. This was only in Utah for about a year and a half. So one winter, this is its second winter here. Now that we understand that the vehicle isn't in the best condition, pristine, brand new, no scratches, let's head over to the first problem that I found. First thing that I noticed was the radiator. And yes, this is a brand new one because I had to switch it out. And of course, whenever I bought the car, I checked all the fluids. It was actually low on oil. So when I got home, I just topped it off. It's been at the full mark for the past month and a half that I've had this. But the radiator, on the other hand, I topped it off, drove it a couple days, I double checked, and it was low. I was like, what the heck is going on here? And after further inspection, there was a small leak where the drain plug was at, but I think it was because the fins right above it was bent, and that's what caused the leak. And during my inspection of the vehicle, which before people start going crazy, no, I did not hire a mechanic to check the vehicle. I think I have enough knowledge to be okay with it, but should I have done it looking back? Yeah, I should have hired it. So side tip, hire a mechanic to check out the vehicle for you. With that said, I looked under of the skid plate and I saw that there was a little bit of like residue that was reddish pinkish, and right then and there I was like, oh, it's a radiator leak for sure. I took it out and yep, there's literally a spot of that residue. The reason why I didn't see it the first time, because I think the dealership topped it off. Since it was covered by the skid plate, it was just going onto the skid plate and not on the ground. So that was fixed. And honestly, I didn't want to change it myself, but when I saw how easy it was, and especially when I saw how much it was going to be to get this thing changed, I was like, all right, I'll just spend the $200, $250 on the radiator itself and like an hour and a half fixing this thing. So that's good to go. Next, let's talk about fluids. When you're dealing with a vehicle that has over 100,000 miles, just already assume that you're gonna have to change all the fluids, not just the engine oil, but also your differential oils, your differential fluid, your transmission fluid, and your transfer case fluid. Altogether, since I'm doing this, it's gonna be cheaper, but if you go get this done somewhere else, the cost of labor will kind of be a little bit pricey. And also, I'm kind of lucky because the Tundra, my wife's Lexus, and the Prius, they all have OW20 as the oil, so it all works out. While you're under the vehicle, also be sure to grease up all of the joints, all the U-joints, I believe that's what they're called, so that when the vehicle is running, all those joints are all nicely greased up and run smoothly. You don't want anything to squeak or to the point where it runs dry and it'll rub a lot, and then it can cause your drive shaft to break. Make sure to change everything. So funny thing, this one I actually knew because of course I checked it. I opened it and I was like, what the f? Then I looked up the part to cover this. It's gonna be, I think, like $100 or something like that. So that was no problem. But something that I did find out the other day is I had some stuff in the back and I was like, oh, I just have to lock it, make sure no one wants to steal it. And then the next morning when I tried to open up the tailgate, this thing wouldn't work. The lock wouldn't open. So it can lock it, but it won't unlock. So that's why they took out the tailgate access panel in order to unlock and lock it. It's a blessing in disguise because the thing about this 2016 Tundra, and I don't know about the newer years like the 2018 and up, but this is manual lock. There is I forgot what it was called, but there's a system that I can put, a mechanical system, to where it ties in with the OEM wires for unlocking and locking the main cabin to also unlock the tailgate. And as of right now, I'm not using the back as much, so I'm not really worried about stuff getting inside of all this stuff. Lastly, to the wheels and tires. So this vehicle already came pre-lifted, but it is a spacer lift. It came with these sick fuel wheels. One thing I did notice when I was driving home when I first got it was pulling left, which means in alignment, right? So I had to pay, it was like $140 to get this thing aligned. When I also got this aligned, the mechanic was nice enough to kind of do a quick inspection of the vehicle. He said everything else was good. He saw that I changed the new radiator, and he also said that the rotors needed to be changed. But the good thing is that he said the brake pads are still pretty thick. So what is the lesson here? Buying a high mileage vehicle will save you some money up front, but expect to do some maintenance. So I think here are the top 3 lessons that I've learned is 1, get a pre-purchase inspection. 2, expect to change a lot of things or fix a lot of things. And 3, do your research on the vehicle, find out what are the main problems, how expensive the parts are, how expensive the maintenance is if you don't want to fix it yourself. So take those 3 and pretty much this whole video into consideration if you're trying to look for a vehicle that has 100,000 miles or more. Also, if you are going to buy a vehicle that's 100,000 miles or more, stick with the Toyota. My Prius right now has 188,000 miles. It's about to say 189, I think, in the next couple days. So, you know, it's still running smooth, and I get 35 miles per gallon in that mopo. So to end this video, I'm happy with this purchase. There's a lot of things I want to do to this vehicle to make it overland ready, but for the purpose that Emily and I got this truck for, and we will be making another video on that, on what we plan on doing on this truck. So subscribe if you want to see what the plans are. And if you guys learned something, like the video, share it with someone that's looking at a Tundra, or to anyone that's wanting to buy a 100,000 mile vehicle, and hopefully it'll help them out. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Real quick, I was about to go back in and edit this, but there was one more thing that I actually had to fix, and it's the water pump, which it sits right behind the fan. And I think the reason why the person before this wanted to sell this vehicle is because there was a lot of maintenance to be done. The water pump is actually pretty easy to fix, and it'll probably take me 2 hours to do if you're not mechanically inclined, or if you, I looked it up and that thing was going to be like, I think $1,000 to $2,000 to get fixed, and the part's only like 125, 120 bucks. So 120 bucks, 2 hours to $1,000 to $2,000. I think I'll do the cheaper one. Just to give a quick history, and just to give you guys a quick, jeez,